Alrighty. Hey everyone, hope you guys are all having an amazing day out there. Today, the Fed meeting is tomorrow, and that's basically all of the drama we have this week besides a little bit of inflation. Loki's very excited as always. As far as the stream today, everybody, we're going to chill. It's going to be a pretty slow stream. I want to go over some of the Fed news, what's going on with Bitcoin, probabilities with the Fed rate cuts, and then from there, we're just going to read off a couple stories and chat for a little bit. This is a very chill day. Bitcoin didn't even do that much, even though it broke down below a moving average, which is kind of surprising, right? So, hey everyone, welcome back in. Happy to see all of you guys in here today. Before we get started, as always, I am going to give Loki a little bit of a treat. He has been playing outside in the dirt all day, getting dusty and whatnot. Yeah. All right, there you go. Yeah. All right, so let's get started, everybody. Excuse me. So I've been having like a little bit of phlegm, a little bit of coughing, not coughing, but a little bit of hiccups today. I don't know what the heck is going on. But as you guys already know, the Fed is unlikely to cut interest rates, but this week is packed with intrigue. That's how CNBC is putting it. There's a very slim chance we have a rate cut. A very, very slim chance. That being said now, you know, everything surrounding this meeting is Trump, politics, what's happening with the board of governors for the Fed. Are they going to dissent? Are they going to cause drama themselves? There's so many different types of outcomes that I think the market is going to have some really good moves over the next few weeks. All right. Now, we're not going into all this story here, but you guys have already known all of the freaking arguments, all of the anger, all of the yelling and screaming and moaning and whatever you want to call it. You guys know there's so much drama on the Fed right now, and it's just not a good thing. That being said, this is Bitcoin's daily chart here. Bitcoin didn't do anything today, even though it broke down below the 20-day moving average. That is so rare for Bitcoin to not have a big move. I mean, very rare, and I can't even see my R's right. Very rare, right? On top of that, the Dow Jones went down just a little bit. The NASDAQ went down just a little bit, but started higher, and the SPY tilted over a little bit. Everybody's kind of watching to see how this plays out. And that was after we had the good news as far as the Japan trade deal this week, the European trade deal this week, the Chinese framework this week, and all that type of stuff. We've been moving up pretty well. We've had a couple dips here and there, but it seems like we kind of just keep going up here. And the same can be said for Bitcoin, I guess you could say, but it takes a little bit longer for Bitcoin to consolidate and have that larger move. But I will say this, we're still going sideways here. Maybe we're having a little bit of lower high, so a high, lower high, lower high, lower high. All we really have to see is if we can break out above that trend, then Bitcoin should keep on going up to some really nice highs. On the other side of this, we really want to hold on to some support here. I was expecting us to be down a little bit more today, right? I was talking about how things are a little bit more bearish right now in the shorter time frames, the dailies. Then on top of that, when we start to break down below the 20-day moving averages, you see a lot of volatility there, which would have pushed us back down closer to 115, 114,000 bucks. That didn't happen, and I'm guessing it's because of what's about to happen with the Fed tomorrow. There is a 97.9 chance, almost 98% chance that we do not have a rate cut tomorrow and everything stays the same. There is a 2.1% chance we have a cut. 2.1. Not the best odds out there, right? However, we don't have a meeting in August, but we do have a meeting in September. There's, 63% chance that we have a rate cut then. And that's what I think everybody is betting on right now. So what I'll end up doing later on, I think this week, is I'm going to pull up a graph. I think there's a few of them online, or I can make my own like I've done in the past. Well, I'll show you guys every time there's been a rate cut and what the market has been doing afterwards, especially if the economy has been okay, because there's two types of scenarios. Are we going into the 2008 financial recession, or are we going into something else where it's just kind of like we're lowering rates because the economy is cooling off and we're trying to be ahead of the curve here, right? That's simple stuff. Simple. Now, while Bitcoin was going sideways, the rest of the market actually held up okay. Ethereum went kind of okay. Solana went down a little bit today, but nothing crazy. Dogecoin went down a teeny bit. Trump token. What tool is this? This market sessions? About to say that's a year's worth of information for one Tokyo day. That went down a little bit more. Melania is actually up today. That's what Melania might have its first golden cross ever. It did have its first golden cross ever today. Whoa. Well, you know, again, This is a dark horse one where I'd only put like 50 bucks into it, but if you wanted to, this might be something to play around with for a little bit and see if you can make some money. As far as everything else, Bonk is down 10% today. Some of those tokens that ran up really fast and they're breaking down below those levels of support, you are seeing a little bit of capitulation on those right now. However, if you bought anywhere over the last few weeks, not down here, just over here, you're still up around 78%. So please, for the love of God, if you haven't taken any profits, I know I've been talking about this for the last, what, like 2-3 weeks now. It's okay to take profits even now, as long as you are taking the profits and not taking a loss, right? All right. One last thing here before we start going over the news. Bitcoin dominance is consolidating here. This is not good for altcoins. This is good for Bitcoin, but for altcoins, again, we typically bleed back down here. And I don't know how many times we've done this, but I don't know if this is really the altcoin season, all the influencers we're talking about. To me, this is just something of dollar cost average, chill out. Don't try to time the all-time highs and what do you want to call it? Altcoin season extraordinaire. I'm not even going to try to time it right now until we actually hit some of those key levels of resistance, which we came close to, but unfortunately did not make it, right? It did not make it. Now, as far as the news is concerned, there wasn't like a crazy amount. Like I said, the market was actually pretty good for the day. The S&P is up right now. The NASDAQ is up right now. The futures right now for the Dow are down 0.03%. So everything for the most part is up a little bit, which I think is pretty good. There's a few news stories around here, and I think they were actually pretty good. First one here, which was interesting. Spotify drops 11% for the worst day in 2 years on weekly guidance. Again, this is a pure disposable income type of play, right? I have extra money. I want to listen to premium music and not have to buy a CD or some shit, right? Or use Pandora or something. I'm going to go out and drop 15, 20 bucks a month for music, right? I did the same thing for Apple, right? All of a sudden, people aren't being able to spend that much money on Spotify. Again, that just, it shows that the consumer is not spending as much money. And this was this was a luxury. Spotify, Apple Music, those are luxuries. Believe it or not, some people use radios while they drive. I cannot stand the radio quality. So I haven't listened to the radio in my car for a very, very, very long time. If you guys like using car radios, by all means, go for it. I am an audiophile, which means I love listening to premium music. That's why I got the stereo system all behind me. That's why even for the streams, I still got my nice Sony XL5 thingamajigger headphones. I love them. Only thing I don't got right now is Audio Technicas, because those are crazy expensive. But I'm thinking about them. They're really quality ones, but I'm thinking about them. So that was the first thing here. Google executives say employees have to be more AI savvy as competition ramps up. This is just something that we've talked about in the past, over the past few months and years, and now it's starting to become more obvious, I would say, to those people that were kind of ignoring it in the beginning. Guys, if you guys don't know how to use AI in your day-to-day jobs, you will become less productive than those of your coworkers that do. And then when it's time to lay off people, fire people, whatever, to keep the company's bottom line in check, you're going to be the first one off the chopping block. So make sure you guys, specifically if you guys are in tech, understand how to use AI, how to use it productively. So instead of, getting 8 hours of work done in 8 hours, you guys are somehow getting 10 to 12 hours of work done in those same 8 hours using AI. That type of stuff goes a long way. And the more and more we hear about these executives say, hey, we like you, but you can't use AI that well, you're not as productive, we're not going to be able to hire you. That type of stuff is going to become crucial. And on top of all of that, if you guys are a coder or a computer engineer, whatever you want to call yourself there, because there's so many different titles in that job, what you're going to see happening a lot more of is you're having to really hunch down and focus on AI coding and AI tools and kind of infrastructures that work with AI instead of the old infrastructure model. What I find so interesting about all this stuff right now, guys, is we're kind of going into an AI golden age, but we're also about to hit into a blockchain golden age. So you're going to see maybe a little convergence, maybe, where AI and blockchain technology can kind of meld together a little bit, and there's going to be a real product that comes out of that, where a lot of people can really enjoy it, make some money off of it, or just be a really good service, right? And that service could be something to invest in. I'm still looking for those tokens here or there. I don't really see too many of them out there, but I'm keeping my eyes peeled for you guys. One of the things I also wanted to talk about here before we started going over to the next news, which is Starbucks, is you guys remember how we did that AI portfolio here? I think it was Yahoo Finance. There we go. We put together that stocks, and I just want to keep track of what's going on here. So let me go over here. Can I do this to all portfolios? Does it not show me how to do it? My portfolio, there we go, AI stocks. All right, so our portfolio unrealized total is down about 6%, all right? We have one thing that's up, and that's Pega. Everything else is down about 6%, 5%, 5%, 1%, 7% right now, okay? A lot of volatility. At this point in time, I'm okay with just letting my money sit here. I'll have to put a little bit more money to buy the rest of this, but you guys remember I bought some stuff. I sold some stuff off for non-pretend. It takes a few days for it to clear. I gotta wait for that to happen, unfortunately. Then I'll end up buying some of the stuff on here. I don't think it'll be a bunch, but I'll find a way to kind of navigate, and we can hold on to this for a while and see how much money this really takes us. But this investment was only about $1,000 here. It's not the largest, but this one is getting hit hard. And again, we are buying a lot of these assets at all-time highs, or like in the all-time high environment. But that being said, you know, that portfolio is starting off pretty rough here for us. The other portfolios, you know, it's still up 22%. Last 24 hours though, we're down about 0.21%. Fartcoin is now negative after being positive by a freaking mile. High risk one is up 7% here, or down 1.58% over the last 24 hours. So there's a lot of mixed bags going on. But if you would have scaled out of any of this stuff, I guess you would have probably been happy. The last 24 hours, last 7 days, right? All over the place. But before that, everything was really beautiful. Now all of a sudden, blah, blah, blah. Last 24 hours, pump funds up, forums up, XC network, right? A lot of craziness. The majority of stuff is down, but honestly, that's okay. We're just shaking out a little bit. What you really want to see is what tokens have been doing very bad over the last 30 days. Those are the ones I'm a little bit more scared of right now, like Pump Fund, Pi, Virtuals, Aptos, right? Things like Kaya that have been up over the last 60 days, I'm okay with. They're down 6% over the last 30 days. I'm okay with that type of stuff. I'm more concerned about these tokens that have been coming down a lot. Even Fartcoin is still up 4% over the last 60 days, and it's up year to date 17%. All right, you go to the other side of this. Pudgy Penguins is still doing fine. Conflux is doing fine. ENA, Bonk, IP Story, Crow, right? All these tokens may be better dollar cost average tokens for now as you kind of build up some potential wealth. All right, so only two more stories to go here before we start chilling out and going over some technical analysis. But one of the things, again, I'm a Seattleite. This is my culture right here. Okay, I'm a latte sipping guy. I like my lattes. I have a Keurig upstairs. I have a drip coffee machine upstairs, and I have like a professional espresso machine upstairs. Like, I love my coffee, and I even have like bags of loose leaf tea, like real good stuff. Right? Got all of that. And every now and again, I still peek into Starbucks. Their coffee is not that great, but they got good little snacks and sandwiches and stuff like that. And if you want to work from a laptop and just chill and not be at your house sometimes, which is something I like to do, Starbucks is usually a good place to go. Their issue here, and why they are having same store sales falling again and they're not doing so well, is over the years, I've stopped going into Starbucks as much because it's kind of where a lot of homeless people hang out, to be frank. What I've started to go to is all these ma and pa coffee shops where it's very chill, almost like a hipster mentality, actually, even though I'm not really a hipster as I dress in my polo and whatnot, and my watch and my rings and whatnot. Hipsters have rings and hipsters have watches. I think I could be a little bit hipster inside if I really wanted to be. But I'll go find a nice place to have a coffee or an espresso. I'll pull out my laptop, I'll grab myself a snack, and I'll enjoy myself without all the homeless people in there, with all of the corporate bullshit, without the crazy drinks that I don't need to have, and where it's not going to take like 15 minutes for me to get a drink because the Starbucks workers are working on some crazy high-tech drink that takes them 5 minutes a person or some shit like that, right? So a lot of people have been going over to mom and pa types of spots, which I think are actually pretty better. Starbucks as a company is, I think, great. I mean, they do a lot of good stuff. They're not really pro-union, which is, I guess that's just the way some companies are, right? But I don't think there's much more room for them to expand like they have been. I don't see them as being a very big growth stock unless they try to go more outside the world, outside the United States, excuse me, and into the world. I think that might be a better thing. Also, you remember that the former Chipotle CEO left and went somewhere else, right? Well, Chipotle is now going downhill as well because they changed the portion sizes to be that nasty small little stuff where people don't feel like it's worth the cost. If you go to Chipotle and you want a meal, that meal's gonna cost you over 20 bucks on average. Right now, you just want some chips, a drink, and a burrito, it's gonna cost you a lot of money. Depending on where you're at, I live closer to Seattle. Seattle's kind of expensive, so people just don't go there anymore. We can go to a restaurant and get a full-on meal for like 25 bucks, and and that'll be like, an appetizer, this, chilling, right? Not fine dining, just chilling out with friends, grabbing some beers, a good way to go. But that's one thing right here. Now, the last bit of news, this was something I actually haven't read through all the way yet, but this was just something kind of exciting that was like, oh, we're finally starting to see some momentum on the back end here. The SEC approves in-kind creations and redemptions for crypto ETPs. SEC Chair Paul Atkins said the new rules will make crypto exchange traded products less costly and more efficient here, right? What this is going to be actually kind of interesting. Let's see. Yeah, the Bitcoin and Ethereum funds will be permitted to create and redeem shares on an in-kind basis. And they say it's a new day for the SEC, stuff like that. But again, as we get more momentum, people are more excited about it. The more regulation we have, sure, the more predictable Bitcoin becomes, the more boring it becomes in a sense. But the more investments come along, and when those investments come along, you guys know that Bitcoin over time, right? I know there's a lot of ups and downs, but typically, let me just go over here to the weekly chart. There we go. It just keeps on going higher and higher and higher and higher. Whenever there's a nasty dip and you can zoom out and say, damn, that looks like shit, you buy a bunch of Bitcoin. You can buy some Ethereum around that time, although Ethereum was not a good play this cycle. Maybe it will be by the end of it. You can buy some Solana, some Dogecoin, whatever tokens you're looking for, you can buy them around that time. It's just that typically Bitcoin is the safer options. You can stake your Bitcoin for a few years, make some money off of it, and things seem to perform a little bit better, right? If I were to zoom out here and we go back to the lows of 2022, right? How did each token do since 2022? We don't got to go through everything, but you can see Ethereum's doing fine, but it hasn't reached all-time highs. Solana did very well from the 2022 lows, right? Very, very low, very, very great right now. Not really breaking all-time highs, but it did earlier. But again, really, really good rally here. What I was hoping for from Ethereum, basically. Dogecoin from the 2022 lows came up pretty nicely. Trump token, a little too new. Whiff, maybe a little too new for us at Whiff, yeah. Pepe, maybe? No, that was 2023. Yeah, it's rough to find a lot of the old tokens. ADA had a good recovery here. Ape token a little too new. XRP from the 2022 lows, actually not that bad. Now XRP kind of went pretty close to the lows we saw back in like 2018 and stuff like that, but who cares? It's still up higher, right? All-time highs. So there's opportunities here. It's just, choose the ones you know. Don't go off into the wilderness here. Like if you go over to maybe some like a Crow, that one worked out. Actually, that one went even lower into 2023. Oh my God. And then it came up. You might just be breaking even right now. I don't know what to say about that one right there, but you get the point, right? So we're not in that spot right now. Right now, we're kind of in this nice little scale out mode. We're like, we've been climbing for a while here. We've been invested for years. Why not take some, some profits here and there? But overall, we're pretty good. As soon as the Fed comes out tomorrow and says no more rate cuts, we're going to have more clarity about how dovish he is as far as getting cuts in September. We're all going to be very excited about all that. And we may even see the probabilities market shift to the chance of a September rate cut. Remember, next cut is in September after tomorrow. That has a 63.2% chance. In October, we have, what is that, 80? Yeah, like an 80% chance, 82% chance of a cut. Whether it be the first rate cut or the second cut, there's an 80% chance. And of course, by the time December rolls around, there's like a 100% chance. A 94% chance, 93.9% chance we don't have any cuts, which means like a 93% chance. That's gonna be 93% chance that we have a rate cut too. But So everything's looking pretty good. I wish there was more exciting news to talk about right now. I feel like I need to go look at some stuff. I was looking at trending today, all that type of stuff. All it is basically drama around Jerome Powell and what's going on there. If you guys want to learn more about that, I did put out 2 videos today, so please go check them out. I appreciate when you guys watch my content. It helps the channel kind of grow and all that good stuff. So happy to see all of you guys in here today. AI will please completely replace human-made music. Oh, I can't wait for that to happen. I would love to be able to put together my favorite parts of my favorite songs and then just have it match that same vibe, and I think that'd be great. I'm okay with that. And honestly, I don't really care too much for artists, so I don't care. Maybe like Kanye or something like that. He's always like a popular phenomenon that kind of like spans generations. I mean, he was just in like what, Career or something like that, getting a massive audience out there. You have access to unlimited music production. I'm sure there's already somebody trying to do that right now. It's just very difficult, and you have to get the voices right. The voices right now are the hard thing, because the best thing we have, right, at this moment in time, from like to mass produce out to people, I think, is 11 Labs, and their voices aren't necessarily too great right now. They're okay. They're good. They're okay. They're getting better, but they're just, you know, they're a little bit more rough. But eventually they're gonna get there. I think eventually they're gonna get there. You got some of the music ones right there, but they take too much inspiration, I think, from songs, so they get in trouble for it. But there's gonna be a nice healthy balance that kind of figures itself out. It really depends on if there's a Republican or Democrat in office when all this shit hits the fan, though, because one's gonna want more regulation, one's gonna want less. And if you want to have all that cool AI stuff, you're definitely going to see a lot less regulation going forward, a lot less. But I don't think Trump really wants to regulate the AI industry like heavily. I think he wants to do just enough where the government remains in control and kind of peek and see what they're doing underneath the hood. But saying, hey, if you want money, go for it. We're capitalists here, baby. Bye. You know what I mean? That seems pretty simple. Just ordered some parts for my dad's 2120 Buick Regal. Haven't turned on the radio yet to see if it still works. Oh man, one of my friends is building up some cars right now, like an old Cadillac or something like that. But he's loving all that. Another friend of mine's building out a car, but the floor was what do you call that? Rotted out. So they take out the whole floor, the whole seats, and now they gotta like put all the flooring back in there with the carpet and everything. Put the seats back on there. Old car, but it seems pretty cool. Maybe there's some future use for that spectrum. What if they enable crypto lounges? I think that'd be kind of cool. I am not a tech bro, but I can talk with a tech guy, right? So when I'm thinking about all this stuff and how AI is changing everything, blockchain changing everything, I'm like, I'm still gonna be in the same old people lounges I'm in right now, or sports bars I'm in right now, and I'll run into wealthy people there, and I do go to some nice classy cigar lounges as well that are a little bit more like private membership type stuff. But the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm just like, I'd rather stay there than go into a fancy tech shop, because hell no, I just find it so much more difficult to talk to people and do stuff like that. Like maybe if I were to go over here and go to Maps Seattle, right? So like here is a lounge that I go to every now and again. It's called like the Derby, right? And you'll find me over here once in a blue moon. Outlet Goodwill. Credit Union. There we go, Derby. Okay. This is a restaurant. It's a car dealership. It's a bunch of other stuff. But bunch of cool stuff in here, right? But they have a cigar lounge hidden in the back. If there is any photos of it, I can't tell. Good food. It's really good food, but it's expensive food, so I don't eat there. Oh, I do eat there, but that bacon right there is like $5. I don't see the cigar lounge. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so there's a cigar lounge that's nice in there. But you pull up here, right, and you go say hello. Oh shit! What did I just do that for? There you go. All right. You're gonna see a lot of people eating and drinking, and if you go back there, there's a garage opening, and inside there you get access to all the nicer cars. Like, I wish there's a Tesla factory over there, but I can't show you because all this stuff is closed. Sometimes this stuff is open. But basically, you go in there, and you can see somebody had some fucking fun in here. Holy shit. And you get some real nice fancy cars like the ones I showed you before. The people that own those nice fancy cars are often smoking where I'm smoking. But when I look at Seattle, and I'm thinking of like, all the tech lounges are kind of in the campuses of the corporations. Maybe that's a better way to explain it. It's very hard for me to go into those places like that, right? But let me see if I find like a coffee shop. All right, lots of nice little coffee shops in Seattle, right? And I'm not, notice there's not even like a Starbucks coming up, right? Now there's a McDonald's. There's a McDonald's, but that's not the same thing. So here's this Zeitgeist coffee. See how this feels kind of homier? That makes sense, right? Old building like that, nice latte like that. Homier, small. I've been here a couple times. It's good. It kind of closes a little bit too early for me, but it's there. I back up a little bit more. Luna Cafe. This is another good one right here. Older, but see, but they've spruced it up a little bit. These people, I don't like Dubai chocolate and all that type of stuff, but what they do have is a good, oh yeah, that stuff freaks me out too much. Where is it at? No, okay, well they have a very good, just regular like iced latte, and you pay for everything at a little kiosk. So if you just want to sit down, chill, that's also another one. I used to have a tailor right here on the street, so I used to go here all the time. There's a good pizza spot right there as well. But my tailor moves to another part of the town. And then anything else here as far as coffee? Okay, this one's actually pretty good too. Again, chill, relaxing, got some good food and stuff like that, but it's chill. See those chairs? Chill, relaxing, homey vibes. I like that type of stuff. Tech is too techy. Way too techy for me, and I can never deal with it. I just don't know why. I just never really been able to deal with it. I like those hole in the wall spots. Enjoy them a lot. I also really do like fine dining and luxury atmospheres. I really enjoy them, but to me that's completely different than the tech attitude. Very different than the tech attitude. And hey MK, happy to see you. Alt's bullish still. They're turning more bearish now as we're kind of seeing a little bit of a bounce off of that Bitcoin dominance hitting support. So I would have maybe scaled out a little bit of something here over the last few weeks if you've had the opportunity. Some of you guys are still going to have some bullish plays. Some of you guys will not. Remember the portfolio we just talked about here, that one was up around 22% a few days ago, 27%. Now it's only up around like 4 or 5%. So again, a lot of those altcoins have come down quite hard. And hey, I'm happy to see my man. Getting pretty popular. Maybe there's a use case for that, crypto micropayments robots. Oh, I think so. Again, the way another treat for Loki. The way I think blockchain really enters our lives is them not calling it the blockchain. I think they're going to try to call it something else, like a payment system or whatever. They just won't call it the blockchain system. It'll be something completely different, which I can understand because they want people to use it. They want people to be excited about it, understand it. There's going to be a new term that probably comes out of blockchain, or maybe it's a term that's already out there. It's less mainstream. All right. And then I'll try to figure out more about it. But I think people are going to accept it pretty easily. It's just not going to be called blockchain technology. Or even Web3 or stuff like that. It'll be something completely different there. Although the moment we start to own all of our data, oh my God, it's going to be so great, right? Like imagine we have all of our data on the blockchain, right? And kind of like how we talked about that story yesterday as far as Jamie Dimon, CNBC. I think this is maybe Ping. Here we go. Yeah. So JP Morgan says fintech middlemen like Plaid are massively taxing its systems with unnecessary ping. So it's asking for all the information, right? So where's your location, all this type of stuff. Well, what if, and this is just a what if at this point, what if this happened? What if every time they pinged your information, you got paid a penny? 2 cents, 5 cents, I don't know the rate. I have no idea what the rate is. But you get paid that much every time somebody wants to learn about your location, whatever. So maybe you just download a shit ton of apps, you let them track you wherever you go to, you let them track wherever you're spending your money, all that type of stuff. You let them know whatever, what you're looking on your YouTube, what you're looking on your computers, whatever, all that type of stuff. But what if you're getting paid like every time they want to ping you, it's a penny or a nickel or something like that, right? I'm really curious, and maybe I can ask GPT about this. If I go over here and go to Chat GPT, and let me go over to, well, I think you guys can read. It's a little bit sideways. That's fine. So there was a story last week about Fintech middlemen pinging banks too often for random info. I assume a lot of companies try to track my data and location, ECT. How much do they pay for accessing that data on average? I wonder if it'll let me know. Yeah, the story was about JP Morgan complaining that about fintech data aggregators like Plaid. Okay, something like 1.89 billion pings in June alone, and there were only 13 were actually used by customers, right? So there's no one-size-fits-all number, but here's a general range. $0.01 to $2 per user per month is common of raw data access through APIs and partnerships. For more refined behavioral aggregate financial data like spending trends, $5 to $20 per user per month, depending on how deep and how real-time the access is. That means if an app has 1 million users connected via Plaid or similar, they may pay 1 million to 10 million per year in total just to access and maintain the pipeline of user data. Okay. So I am a 30-year-old crypto influencer. Hopefully I can say fintech influencer one day. Influencer. So how much money is spent on tracking me overall per a month? This number is probably going to be very small, but let's see what happens there anyway. I live in Seattle and have some money. There you go. All right, so basic data, this is what everybody else would be getting. Around $1 to $5 a month. If there's any crypto insights, it may go up to $10 to $20. But again, so that's $1 to $5. Is there any way to get a cut of that money? That's what I'm curious about. The data rewards platforms, I don't know, Swash, Wise, I don't want to do all this stuff. Join blockchain-based data co-ops. I mean, there's number 2 right there, right? Ocean Protocol, Datum, Swash, right? So, interesting. License my identity. I'm not licensing my identity. You can turn your audience into a DAO. That is interesting right there. But yeah, so a lot of different ways out there. But it doesn't seem like there's not much money into it. I wonder. They must be doing mega trends, right? So if they're using our data as a whole as a trend, I wonder if there's more money in that for us in that particular way, because they're trying to like track everybody in the Seattle area, where they're kind of going, that type of stuff. I do a lot of genres: hip hop, country rock, gothic, grunge. So it sounds like Seattle would love you. Gothic grunge is big out here. A lot of Solana meme coins are under a penny now. Yeah, oh my God. I mean, there's so many meme coins still out there, right? But at this point, again, like once you have topped off your token with like $100 or $50 or $200, whatever that amount is you want to put for that token, you don't have to keep on putting more money into that token. You can go over here and say, remember, what's the token under $500 million market cap that I can buy for myself and be happy with, right? this Zora stuff is taking off right now. Don't know too much about it, but it's taking off. Wilder's up a little bit today. And again, $300 million market cap, $100 million market cap. I'm looking at them right here. Didn't I just do 500 market cap? I did, but it doesn't matter. That's fine. Right. You can go into the next token, the next token, the next token, the next token, and kind of see what you like. Like that useless token right here. I bought some of that. It's up, what, like 58% last month? That's not bad, right? Just depends on when you want to sell it. Sun is having issues here, but it's looking good right now. Oh no, this isn't Sun. This is a whole different Sun that I'm thinking of. Last 7 days not too hot, but the last 30 days hot for a lot of these tokens right here. Yeah, so I think there's lots of opportunities though for all that type of money. I'm buying all the dips and a lot of it. Dude, I can't blame you guys. Buying those dips will make you some good money here. Started making music for my own streams and just kind of started becoming its own thing. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be though. You're always trying to chill out, have a good time, right? If you can have a job where you're chilling out, you're usually pretty good. That's why sometimes I just take the day off. I'm like, I'm stressed about something, and it's something I have no right being stressed about because I just have like anxiety and stuff. That's literally the medication I have is for it, just anxiety. So if I don't have anxiety, right, I'm chill. I'll stream with you guys all day long. I'm really happy. If I have anxiety, my brain is on everything but exactly what I'm trying to do, which can be absolutely horrible. Which is why I know tomorrow gonna be a crazy time because of that Fed rate cut coming in. We already all know what's happening. It's just gonna be how exactly does the market react? What is Jerome Powell gonna say? All that type of stuff. There's gonna be complete chaos as far as CNBC, Bloomberg, and what's happening there. And then after all that, right? When the market starts to make its move, we have to kind of interpret that, do all this other type of stuff. My brain goes into overdrive with all that type of stuff. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm just happy my channel is back to being monetized because that way I can do a bunch of stuff. I got the $1.99 memberships back up. I got ads running again. It's a bunch of nice, chill stuff. And I think for tomorrow, I'm even going to go up to a restaurant in Tacoma and grab a couple drinks because I haven't been out to have like a drink in a minute here. So I'm excited about that as well. I could go out tonight if I wanted to as well, but I don't know if I want to. I think what I'm gonna do though is there's a way of making content out in the world. You know, I'm friends with George. I talk with George a little bit here, and George does. Crypto or Us. See how he just does random videos, just like walking around, or he's out in the front of his house, or like I like the ones where he's in his car or he's walking somewhere. I might do something like that here pretty soon, where I'm walking back in my backyard again. I'll just post the video, be like 10-15 minutes long, but I'm just yapping along. Maybe I'm walking low-key along the beach and I'm having a video being made, all that type of stuff, right? I'd watch this video. I watched it earlier. I can't play Bloomberg, I think, on this channel, but Mollis piles into Bitcoin ahead of public listing. I met him down in Vegas. He was a really chill guy in a hoodie. Like you could never know it was him. Really, really chill guy, but highly recommend you watch that video. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a give and take the next few days, right? Let me see what's going on over here very fast and poke this up just a tad. All right, there we go. I also need to find a new music maker. I don't like the music on this platform all too much. It's good enough, but it's not great. But the music is good enough where because YouTube somehow like messes up and like reinterprets the music, at least I know YouTube won't shut down the stream for having music because it's not like Beyonce or something like that. That's where you're starting to get into some really good trouble here. Some really big trouble, excuse me. All right, let me see if there's any more news coming out there right now. No, intrigue. Yeah, Bank of America expects a jobs report dud on Friday. A jobs report dud on Friday would be great because that means we're going to have a rate cut, maybe an emergency one in August. But again, let me go over here to let's get rid of all these. And for this one, probably so Wednesday, the FOMC, right? We got GDP, then pending home sales. Thursday, we have jobless claims, personal income, personal spending, PCE inflation, core PCE inflation. Then Friday, we got an employment rate, right? So there's a bunch of news coming out, which I think is going to be great. Oh, and we also have some auto sales coming out, how the car dealerships doing with all these tariff wars happening. But next week, factory orders, trade deficit, which is Trump's baby, right? Initial jobless claims again next Thursday. And that's basically it. So whatever big move we have this week with all the news coming out that we just talked about, right? In terms of tomorrow, starting off with FOMC, right? Thursday going with initial jobless claims and another inflation key level, right? Then Friday going over for jobs reports, right? All of that momentum is going to launch us one way or the other, because it looks like next week there's not really much news coming out. So all of that momentum is kind of like condensing and already to spring to the high side or the low side or whatever it may end up coming to. It's all kind of compressing right now. Whichever way we go, it's going to be for the whole week plus. It's going to be a great time. I'm just hoping it's a bullish move here, not a bearish move. That's where things would really start to really suck here, right? Now that's things like really start to suck. But at least everything is pretty calm, right? I mean, Bitcoin could be falling off a cliff right now, but instead we've been bouncing around and having a good old time of it, which is very surprising. You know, even altcoins are pretty much still doing okay here, a little bit more sideways action, nothing too crazy, but they're calm, they're measured. As we kind of go into tomorrow, that could definitely change, but I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping it very much does not. Oil prices, let's go to the daily chart here. Oil prices have been going back up a little bit. That's not good news. They're going up because the Europeans are going to start buying all of America's oil and industry, which means our price, we're going to pay more for that shit, which is kind of stupid. I don't like that. And dollar index is still bouncing up a little bit. Russell's still going down a little bit, but it hasn't hit all-time highs, has it? No. When we have rate cuts, guys, this is the sector that you guys want to go diving into. A lot of money will come straight flowing into this. Where the NASDAQ has had massive growth since 2021. You can see the NASDAQ, like, woo, you know, Dow Jones, woo. The Russell 2000 has not. Not at all, okay? Not at all. Use them out. We've been going higher and higher and higher, but that has not been the play. So, honestly, when I'm looking at stuff like this, I'm thinking of what companies in the small cap 2000 index are worth me getting. And typically I just go over to FinViz, right? You can go in here and you can type in your favorite screener, basically. So let me go over here to market cap. Let's say 2 billion to 10 billion. Those are kind of like mid. You can go small cap 300 million to 2 billion. Let's go small cap just for today. All right. And that takes it down to 1,613 stocks out there. If you want to go by a sector, you can. For me, real estate's pretty rough right now, right? Maybe we can see some good moves coming out over the next few days. You go over to charts and you kind of see what's been growing, what hasn't. A lot of nastiness here. You're not seeing much growth. So what you have to do is you kind of have to say, okay, well, technicals, performance. Let's go quarter up. Actually, up on the quarter. That's 61%. And you still see a lot of nastiness right here, which means we might need to be year to date up. ALX, Alexander's Inc. That's a retailer. Yeah, a lot of ickiness in here. Anywhere real estate services, industrial logistics properties trust. That one seems actually pretty nice. What is this one? They have a good dividend out of this one? 2%. It's not great. Market cap is 365 million. Damn, that's tiny. Interesting though. All right, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be opportunities here. I just hope that the opportunities are pretty easy to spot because man, the last few months they've been really rough. All right. But okay, buddy, I'm gonna end the stream right here. Seems like everybody got chatted out in the comments down below. I think that's probably the best time for me to like shut off streams when people stop talking usually, because that lets me know like we've all kind of had our fill of whatnot. Plan for tomorrow. I'll stream a little bit early. I'll probably stream around. No, let's keep it to 4 o'clock. Let's keep it to 4 o'clock so we can chill and relax. Because I got some other stuff to do in the middle of the day. We'll stream, we'll talk, we'll kick it. We'll show what Jerome Powell did, how the market's reacting to it, and kind of what my new moves are. Because right now I've just been dollar cost averaging or scaling out some of the stuff we bought a while ago, and I've been kind of patient. When I watch that press conference tomorrow and his statements, it's going to be real illuminating, I would say, for all of us, right? Very, very much illuminating. So take your time, relax, enjoy your last pleasant day, because tomorrow is going to be a shit show. It's going to be very chaotic, and hopefully we have some good moves coming up. But I'm very curious personally to see if any of the board members dissent. Normally they all say, okay, we don't agree, but we agree for the sake of agreeing, right? Pretty soon you may see them say, no, we don't actually agree with the Fed, so we think he was wrong about this. When they do stuff like